Pro-choice demonstrators in the Polish capital Warsaw have been holding a vigil outside the Constitutional Court. It's after it introduced an almost total ban on abortion. With wide legal restrictions already in place, the judges ruled that ending the life of a deformed fetus is counter to the country's constitution. Well, anti-abortion activists celebrated as the news of the decision emerged. This means that terminations in Poland are now a valid option only in cases of rape, incest, or to protect the mother's life.
Today, Poland is an example for Europe. It's an example for the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not stuck in the historical necessity which commands us to march to the left and facilitates murder. It's possible to protect life. Regular pro-life activism, which brings results, is possible.
Kaja Godek, an anti-abortion campaigner, while pro-choice campaigner Marta Lempart leads the Polish women's strike movement. She believes that this decision was unconstitutional.
We will support the doctors who already called us to declare that they are not going to go along with Mrs. Przyłębska's announcement, and they will perform abortions because the law hasn't changed. And we're going to the European Commission to start the infringement procedure on Poland for attempting to legalize tortures in Poland, to go to the European Court of Justice against Poland for that. And we'll support each and every individual case against a doctor that will try to lie that this kind of abortion is banned in Poland, because it's not.
Marta Lempart there. Well, let's speak to attorney Anna Mazurczak, who joins us live from Warsaw. Before we work out what is legal and isn't, just remind us the situation, because even before this ban, the number of abortions in Poland were very, very few compared to other countries, with thousands of women leaving the country to get an abortion.
That's true. Our legislation was, even before the Constitutional Court decision, very, very strict. So there were only 3 grounds of legal abortion in Poland, as you mentioned. But actually the majority of them, like 98% of legal abortions in Poland, were performed on the grounds of the fetal defect. So that is why we say that from today we have a total abortion ban in Poland.
So out of the 1,000 abortions that did take place, 98% of them took place due to fetal defects. When it comes to what happened today in Poland, this decision was moved from the government to the courts. Why was that?
Well, because that's what Marta Lempart also said, that actually the Constitutional Court is not a court anymore, because all the judges were actually approved by the ruling party. So it's rather politically driven Constitutional Court. So that's why we say there's no difference whether it was the government's decision or the Constitutional Court's decision.
So it's a political, it's viewed, it's the optics, isn't it? It's political, but in terms of the court's decision, it is ultimately, it is now the law in Poland.
Well, yeah, because I can imagine that no doctor in Poland would perform the abortion in case of fetal defect, because, of course, a doctor risks of being imprisoned, because actually performing abortion against national law, Act on Family Planning, is a crime in Poland. So actually the criminal code already created this chilling effect. And even now, there are not so many legal abortions in Poland, as you mentioned. So even now, this chilling effect exists. I can imagine now where prosecutors are being politically influenced by the Ministry of Justice. Of course, they would prosecute such doctors. So I can imagine that they won't, well, even if we encourage them to not respect the Constitutional Court decision, I am 100% sure that, you know, they will be simply afraid of being imprisoned. So they won't perform abortion in that case.
So, Marta, we don't have much time, but now we don't have that much time, but Marta was saying that the decision now is to go to the EU Commission to start an infringement procedure. Just explain to us on what grounds that would be.
Well, actually, I really don't know. I mean, I was surprised by that statement. I really don't know, because I can imagine that the European Union will simply declare that the abortion law is something which is completely up to the member states. So I think that European Commission won't intervene on that issue.
OK, well, Anna Mazurczak, thank you so much for talking us through that decision there in Poland. Thank you for your time.